Hello. Some time ago, someone building an escape room contacted me and asked me whether I can do a system where you can type password on a regular keyboard like this and have it open or close a relay. Now, that project didn't come through, at least not with me, but I decided to build one anyway just to make sure that I can handle this because I'm usually working with microcontrollers and Arduinos, not with Raspberry Pi. So I took this Raspberry Pi 1.3, which I happen to have. This is the version without the Wi-Fi. I fitted it with a little control board with a transistor and a status LED, a regular USB keyboard, and this instead of a relay I used this decorative LED thingy that I got in a cheap store, and I fitted it with connectors here so I can plug it into the board like so. Now this wasn't a real challenge. The program which I wrote in Python isn't very challenging either. But the real challenge was, as you'll see, first let me just connect this to power because it has to start up. The system has to start up. The operating system on the Pi is the Raspbian Stretch Lite, the version without the graphic interface, because as you can see, this is a monitorless system. No point in having a heavier and slower loading system, operating system, when there's no graphics here. Now, when my program will start up, and it will happen automatically, the status LED will light up too, as an indication. Now, to make this happen, usually the usual way of doing this is putting the call to your own program in a file called /etc/rc.local. However, I found out the hard way that files that are run from there have no access to the standard input of the keyboard. Instead, you have to put the call to your program in your home directory. There's a file called .bashrc. Here's the light. Now, if I type in garbage, nothing happens. But if I type in the correct password, in this case it's in Hebrew, so it won't make much sense to you, but if I did this correctly, the LEDs light up for 10 seconds and then the thing restarts. Now, this again, it's not very complex in Python, but there are issues. For example, I needed to protect against vandalism of the kind of clicking Ctrl+Alt+Delete or Ctrl+C in Linux. This will also terminate the process in usual circumstances, and I didn't want the escape room users to be smartasses and do this, so I figured out and looked up ways to disable Ctrl+C. That's using the trap command of Linux, and also the Ctrl+Alt+Delete that involved linking some files into /dev/null to avoid the usual operation of Ctrl+Alt+Delete. Anyway, you can see this is working. Even if I click these over and over again, when I write the correct password, this works. Another thing, I wanted this to shut down in an orderly fashion, not to just plug it out, because this may ruin the operating system files. So I added another password for shutting it down. Now, if you just exit your own program, the operating system is still running. There's no benefit in that. So I added the shutdown command to shut down the Pi. However, if I did that just as I described, this means that you won't have any access ever again to your own file as a program. If you want to change something, like making this 15 seconds instead of 10, you can't, because the Pi automatically runs this program, which you can't terminate because I disabled the Ctrl+C and Ctrl+Delete, and then it shuts down, so you won't have time to access your files. So I added a read command to the bash file that it actually waits 10 seconds for the users to type anything on the keyboard, and if he types anything on the keyboard, then it gives him access to the back to the command line interface. So if you have a HDMI display connected, you can see and edit your files. But if you don't touch anything for 10 seconds or press just enter in that period, the shutdown command is executed and the Pi will shut down. So the exit password is "we'll meet again." Hopefully I typed it in correctly. This should shut down if I did. Okay, now it's waiting for 10 seconds for any kind of input or for enter. Let's say I don't do anything, so soon you'll see the lights of the Raspberry Pi shutting down, blinking for showing that it's doing something, and then shutting down. There you go. So this is my system. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I'll write a post in my English blog about this so you can understand the techniques I used. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.